Diary of a Journalist, the podcast where we dive into the untold stories behind the headlines, explore the highs and lows of the journalism world, and uncover the personal journeys of those who bring us the news. In each episode, you'll get an insider look at what it truly means to be a journalist in today's fast-paced world. So whether you're a news junkie, an aspiring journalist, or simply curious about the stories behind the stories, this is for you. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we turn the pages of Diary of a Journalist. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello. This is the Diary of a Nigerian Journalist. I am Arit Efanga. Are you struggling to merge your 9-to-5 status as a reporter with freelancing? You should know these rules. In today's fast-paced world, the idea of working a traditional 9-to-5 job while also dabbling in freelance gigs has become a common trend, especially in the media industry. Many reporters are looking to balance their full-time newsroom responsibilities with the flexibility that freelancing offers. But the reality is, merging a 9-to-5 career with freelancing is not as easy as it seems. It comes with its unique set of challenges that can leave you feeling overwhelmed if not handled properly. If you're a reporter looking to make a leap from your full-time job to freelancing, or if you want to keep both worlds in harmony, there are some key rules you should follow to navigate this tricky balance. Now, let's explore these essential rules to help you merge your career as a reporter with freelancing successfully. Rule number 1. Understand the importance of time management. The first thing you need to understand when balancing your 9-to-5 with freelancing is the importance of time management. As a full-time reporter, your day is likely packed with deadlines, interviews, meetings, and story pitching. Add freelancing into the mix, and suddenly your schedule becomes even tighter. The ability to manage your time efficiently is crucial. Start by creating a clear schedule that breaks down your day into blocks of time for both your full-time job and freelance work. Be realistic about how many freelance assignments you can take on without burning out. It's important to give yourself enough breathing space to complete your 9-to-5 work while also dedicating adequate time to freelancing. Tools like Google Calendar, Trello, or even a physical planner can help you organize your task. Remember, time management doesn't just mean setting aside time for work. It's also about allocating time for rest. Don't fall into the trap of overworking yourself, as this will lead to burnout and may negatively impact both on your freelance projects and your primary job. Rule number 2. Set clear boundaries. As a reporter, especially if you work in an office or a newsroom, it's easy to feel like you're always on the clock. Similarly, freelancing requires your attention, often pulling you in all directions. Setting clear boundaries is essential to avoid conflicts between your 9-to-5 job and freelance work. When it comes to your full-time job, be clear with your employer about the hours you are available and any limitations regarding freelance work. Depending on your workplace policies, freelancing may or may not be allowed during work hours. If freelancing is allowed, set strict boundaries to ensure that you do not compromise your main duties. If necessary, communicate with your supervisor about your freelance goals and make sure they are aware of any potential impact on your schedule. For freelancing, set boundaries around how much work you will take on at a time. Don't be afraid to say no to opportunities that you cannot realistically handle without jeopardizing your main job. Now, rule number 3, keep your freelance work separate. One of the biggest mistakes freelancers make when balancing full-time jobs with side gigs is mixing up their freelance work with their main responsibilities. This can be a recipe for disaster, leading to missed deadlines, confusion, or even conflicts of interest. To avoid this, keep your freelance work separate from your 9 to 5 role. Consider creating different workspaces, whether that's a physical workspace or a digital one. Set up a dedicated email address for your freelance projects. Separate them from your main work email. You can also set up a specific folder or system to organize your freelance projects so they don't get mixed up with your full-time work tasks. Keeping a clear divide helps maintain professionalism in both jobs. When you work on your freelance project, focus entirely on them. When you're working on your full-time job, be fully engaged in your reporting duties. Mixing the two can lead to distractions and mistakes. Rule number 4, know your priorities. One of the biggest struggles when merging a 9 to 5 job with freelancing is knowing when to prioritize one over the other. There will be times when your full-time job requires extra attention, such as meeting an urgent deadline or covering a breaking news story. Likewise, your freelance client may give you short deadlines or high-pressure assignments. At times like this, you will need to assess your priority and make a decision based on what matters most. Always take into account deadlines, the importance of the work, and your mental and physical well-being. If you're struggling with too many deadlines, communicate with both your employer and your freelance agents. Be honest about your workload and ask for extensions when needed. In many cases, clients will understand if you provide them with realistic expectations. Rule number 5, understand conflicts of interest. When you are a reporter working full-time and also freelancing, you need to be aware of potential conflicts of interest. Freelancing often involves working for different media outlets, while your full-time job may restrict the kinds of projects or clients you can take on. It's crucial to check with your employer about any clauses in your contract regarding freelance work, especially if you're working for a direct competitor or writing on the same topics you cover in your 9 to 5 job. Being transparent about your freelance assignments with your employer can help avoid any conflict of interest that could affect your reputation or job security. Number 6, set financial goals and track earnings. Managing finances can become tricky when you're juggling a full-time job and freelancing. As a reporter, you likely receive a fixed salary, but your freelance income can vary from month to month. Setting clear financial goals for both your full-time and freelance work will help you stay on top of your earnings and manage your expenses. Consider creating a separate bank account for your freelance earnings so you can track how much money you're making outside of your 9 to 5. By tracking your earnings and setting realistic financial goals, you'll have a clearer picture of how much you need to work in both your full-time and freelance roles to meet your financial objectives. Rule number 7. Freelancing is one of the most flexible careers, allowing you to work from anywhere and at any time. However, when you have a full-time job, flexibility can be both a blessing and a curse. While freelancing allows you to set your own schedule, it also means you may have to work nights and weekends to meet deadlines, which could interfere with your 9 to 5 job. Instead of trying to maintain rigid work hours for both roles, embrace flexibility. Be open to adjusting your schedule as necessary. If you're behind on a freelance work, for example, consider working late into the evening or dedicating your weekends to complete assignments. On the other hand, if your full-time job demands more attention one week, be flexible with your freelance commitments. And now the last rule, number 8. Make time for yourself. Working a full-time job and freelancing can easily lead to burnout. When you're constantly moving from one task to another without giving yourself time to recharge, it can take a toll on your physical and mental health.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Diary of a Journalist, the podcast where we dive into the untold stories behind the headlines, explore the highs and lows of the journalism world, and uncover the personal journeys of those who bring us the news. In each episode, you'll get an insider look at what it truly means to be a journalist in today's fast-paced world. So whether you're a news junkie, an aspiring journalist, or simply curious about the stories behind the stories, this is for you. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we turn the pages of Diary of a Journalist. Let's get started.